team is like watching no blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the freak. And number 50, the general lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like Des Bryant, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wynn and a trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones.
Number one in the nation in the hitch route, man. I want to know, man.
Watching your team is like watching no blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the freak. And number 50, the general lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like Des Bryant, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wynn and a trip bet. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones.
What the first INT house gonna look like?
We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. Got rings that go blank. We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching no blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the freak. And number 50, the general lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like Des Bryant, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wynn and a trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones.
I need to know, man, real quick. Where did this come from? Man, how are you enjoying your rookie OTL first? How do you feel about continuing that legacy of
We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching no blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the freak. And number 50, the general lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like Des Bryant, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wynn and a trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world. Y'all know Jerry Jones. We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching no blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the freak. And number 50, the general lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like Des Bryant, I'm
Hey, what up, y'all? It's that time of the year again for our annual gala. On June 8th, we will be hosting our 2019 Diamonds and Pearls Gala down in Davie, Florida. You can purchase tickets or find out more information on 88blessings.org. On top of honoring our single moms, we will also be honoring Lori from Make Our School Safe. I hope to see you all there. Much love.
What's up with you guys? It is your boy West Coast, and we are live in the building. And this is the 4:30 show. Not saying that this is the last show, but this is the last scheduled show of the week. So if something pop off tomorrow, that means as two businessmen, we having slow Fridays, or somebody in Dallas is having a fast Friday. You know what I mean, Dallas Cowboy? But man, how you doing today, boss?
Man, good. Loving it.
Shoot, I heard that, man. Hey, man, I got my boy Mike Nugent in the house, man. What up with you, Mike? What up with you, man? I ain't gonna go all into the story how we know each other, man, but one of my very, very first folks to sell me down ever to watch my show. So what up with you, Mike Nugent? What up with you, man? Hey, speaking of which, I want to talk about I put a picture up on the page, and it was a picture of Jason Witten, and he was talking to the troops. He was talking to the tight ends, and I posed a question, and the question was, what would you want Jason Witten to be teaching these tight ends? You know, because he had a very good look. And I'm gonna get to our answers right after I say what's up to some of these people in this comment box, so I can give you guys a little bit of time to text in. So what would you want? What would you want? What's one thing that you would want Jason Witten showing these tight ends? All right. So let me say what up to some folks. Hey, when I say what up, this is what I need you guys to do. When I say what up, I need you to go to YouTube, Dallas Cowboy Scouting, type in hello, or type say what up to West Coast. Get your name on there so we can get you entered. Because remember, that's the only way you can win. Is going over there to YouTube. So make sure you take care of that business. So Tony, what I know you already over there. Ruben, what up with you? Tony, Bob Head, Christopher Grover, what up with your man? Julie, what up with you? How you doing today, Scout? Big Dog, how you doing? What up? It's DC fam. We gonna take it all this year. Shoot, I believe it, brother. And it's coming through your city too, because we coming to DC week 2, and West Coast will be out there with OG Mark Holmes. We got Alan Mims. What's up? What's up, West Coast and Boss Cowboy? Alan Mims is from Little Rock, Arkansas. That's what's up, or at least he's watching from Little Rock, Arkansas. Shout out to Little Rock, Arkansas. My family, we originally from El Dorado, Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? Moved out here to Cali when I was 9. You know what I'm saying? Been out here 37. Well, been out here since I was, about 29 years, I guess. So what up with you, Alan? What up with you, LG Richard? What up with you, man? Terrell. Hey, Anthony, shout out to you, bro. Because I'm going to tell you right now, bro, there was 3 groups that I joined over the last month, and I bet everything that I love that when I got into those groups, you had already shared our material in that group. 100, bro. 100, bro. Hey, matter of fact, you might get me in my feelings, and I might even send me your inbox, man. I'm gonna send you something, bro. It might not be the biggest gift in the world, but it's definitely a token of my affection. Anthony, text me, hit me your inbox. You got caught doing the right thing, because there's been several groups that I didn't got in over these last 2 weeks, and I just go up and down on the scroll line, and I always see him. I always see my guy. I always see my guy sharing our stuff. So shout out, bro. Shoot, look like we got the OC snuck up in here. What's up with you, man?
Man, we got the OC, man. He out there. I mean, it don't work on my phone when I'm driving, but some kind of way he got it going to where he all the way plugged in.
Well, let's make.
Drive.
Can you hear me? OC, can you hear us?
I can hear you, bro.
Oh yeah, you got Verizon, huh? You got Verizon?
I got T-Mobile.
Oh, that was a bad commercial. I was hoping you said Verizon because I got Verizon. Well, you know what? F Verizon named my $450 bill. Well, I'm going to give them a shout out for it. They didn't give me a shout out on my bill. You know what I'm saying? You taking it personal here.
OC.
Yo, I may have to put y'all on mute as my kids enter and exit this car, okay?
Yeah, just make sure you ain't talking. We'll be good.
All right.
But what we going to say? So, yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Let me do a quick test, okay? Tell me if you can hear me.
Oh, we can hear you. You good? No, we can't hear you.
You hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Great. Awesome.
You just showed the whole entire world your age again. But it's all good, though. We love the OC here. When you the OC, we the players. The OC's always going to be a little bit young. Well, actually, Kellen Moore. I wonder if there's somebody on the team older than Kellen Moore. Because how old is Kellen Moore? Hey, my scouts, throw in the comment box how old Kellen Moore is.
He's 29.
He's 29? Nope. Wait, Sean Lee. Sean Lee's 30.
Yeah, older than him, yeah.
And another person who also is older than him, who he actually played with and is going to be responsible to make it look like was it a smart decision for him to come back out of retirement, is the one Jason Witten. Now, Jason Witten there was a very great picture that I saw. Actually, I saw this from the other day, to be honest with you. But there be a lot of times I see stuff and I hold on to it because I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to it till later. You know what I'm saying? So this picture is actually from last week's OTA. But I love the picture because you catch Jason Witten right in the thoughts of whatever it is that he's trying to teach them or whatever he's trying to get them to understand. You also have the trainer over here off to the left-hand side right here, right behind Schultz, and it was Jarwin and Rico. And then you got Jay Witt. You know what I'm saying? Now, before I ask the obvious question, and the obvious question is, I want to know, what is it that you guys want? If you could interject a thought into Jason Witten's head right now, because remember, he don't got hair no more. So since he ain't got hair, you can actually do this. You could interject a thought into his head right now of what you would want him to be teaching these young bucks. And I want to know, what is one thing or what is something that you would want Jason Witten to be teaching these young bucks? Now, before I give my answer, I just want to tell you, well, actually, I'm going to give my answer last. But I want y'all to notice how in shape Rico Gathers look. That's all I want you to know. That could be your starting tight end. You know how they had those memes where they be like the dude be all hugged up with the girl and they be all in love and they be like, this could be us, but you don't answer my phone calls. Like when I look at Rico, I be like, that could be your tight end, but you don't use them. So, the OC, since you in and out, if your kids ain't in the house in the car right now, let me go ahead and get your answer first. Go ahead.
So, I had to mute you, so get rebooted for me because I had a call come in. So
it's all good. I was just saying, how about we do this? I'm gonna spin it to Boss Cowboy so that he can get the question and you can get the response real quick. So the question I was asking is, you see Jason Witten here. If you could magically take off his hat and interject a thought, or if you could interject a lesson or anything that you would want him to regurgitate, here we go, Eisenhower High School, regurgitate back out to these tight ends so that they can apply on the field, what would it be? Basically, what I said is, if you could have Jason Witten teach the tight ends one thing, what would it be? What would you want it to be? That's what I was asking. So, Boss Cowboy, what would that thing be?
Two things. First, nothing. Second, how to read a zone. I know that sounds crazy. So let me explain one first. First, I would want him to do nothing in terms of with his mouth. I would want him to do most of his talking with how he leads by example. And when I look at Jason Witten, and I look at him and his body from last year and before he retired, at first I wasn't buying it because I know they love him like a son. But the more I'm looking at Jason Witten, the more he looks to me very motivated. Very motivated. So I would want him to be the type, because he still got to compete against those guys. And I'm just being honest. I'm never going to expect anybody that's competing against guys to also be their coach. I'm just not going to expect that, because I want him to push those guys. I want him to show them how to do it more than to say how to do it.
Yep.
That's why I said first, nothing. But second, I want him to, if he was to say anything, there's one thing that Jason Witten is very good at, and that's the fundamentals of the game. And he is somebody, to me, quarterback mind, in terms of he can read a defense. So there's no coincidence that he always finds the soft spots in the zone. You can trust him to find it instantly. He always sits down in the right areas in the zone pockets. And that's something that the other tight ends struggled with last year until the Giants game. And to me, that's finally when Swam kind of settled into that. So first, I would want him to just not talk. I would want him to do it by example, push him, compete, show him how to do it. But if he's going to teach anything, teach them how to read the defense and then adjust to it.
All right. OC, man, what is your tight end? What is your senior tight end teaching these young pups, man? What do you need him to do for you?
So what I need him to do is understand that he's a Hall of Famer. The thought I want to inject is that I'm already a Hall of Famer, okay? Rico Gathers and Blake Jarwin, you are now my legacy. You are now going to be and take the mantle and become great and become all pros. And if you listen to me and let me show you a few things, I'll help you get there. If I could inject anything into Jason Witten's head, that is exactly what it would be.
Okay. Now, I posted it on my page, and I didn't really give a response there, so I think this is a fair jab at it. With me, what I would honestly, the first thing I would like Jason Witten to teach these guys, honestly, is how to, one, have making sure that your off the field life doesn't affect your on the field life. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems to seem like that nobody in Dallas is teaching that. You know what I'm saying? And Jason Witten did a really good job of playing very long, making a ton of money, and never getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be honest with you. I know you say, hey, what does that have to really do with football? Well, it has a lot to do with football because availability is the best ability. You know what I'm saying? Being able to be available. I want him to actually be showing these guys. Another thing is Jason Witten didn't miss too many games in his career. I think he only missed one game in his career. You know what I'm saying? And that was the famous Bill Parcells story. You know what I'm saying? So I also want him to be teaching these guys how to, a guy like Rico, a guy that likes to play Rico's a very physical player. Like, how do you play long in this league without maintaining, without having a ridiculous amount of injuries? Because, like I said, availability is the best ability. And also, he's going to be teaching something that he knows a good game about. Why? Because it's something he did over his course of his 14 years of career. Now, as far as, like, football, like, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Like, the only really thing football related that I really want Jason Witten really pouring into these other tight ends really is like how to make sure that your quarterback is always have faith, how to always reinstill faith in your quarterback. Because I think there's times in games or there's situations in season where you may lose faith in your there might be a faith or a situation, where you may drop a pass or whatever. How do you regain and keep that constant relationship with your quarterback so he knows to go to you? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I think part of the reason why our tight ends did not get a lot of targets or get used is because Dak simply didn't trust them. And I mean, and it makes sense because it's like, bruh, I don't really know none of y'all. Like, Rico, I know you more from off the field because Rico and Dak are really cool. And I'm going to be honest with you, another person he's really cool with is David Irving, too. I'm sad it didn't rub off, but that was a guy that they went to the club a lot. You know what I'm saying? But, like I was saying, I would want that to kind of rub off on especially, Rico and Jarwin. Schultz, I don't know, man. He may end up being a long snapper. But that's kind of my thoughts, man. Anybody want to? But I mean, that's something those are my two things I want them to kind of like show them, man. Anybody got any piggyback off of anything that anybody said?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Go ahead.
When I think about Witten, what happened with Emmitt Smith when he went over to the Cardinals when Larry was young, and Larry talked about the impact of Emmitt Smith. And one of the things that he said that Emmett taught him was really more so not the X's and O's, but it was more so how to be a professional NFL player, and more of the off the field stuff. And when you look at Larry's career, he said even obviously Larry is respected just as much as Emmett was then. Now, right? And Larry said it's something that I still do to this day.
To this day.
To this day.
To this day.
He said that I still carry 2 suits with me on every trip. Because he said Emmett taught him a professional never wears the same suit twice when you're traveling. And so, and the impact of Emmett was not the X's and O's. It was the professionalism. It was, this is how you carry yourself as a representative of the Dallas Cowboys. That's what I really want because, and I'm going to say this again, I don't fault with fail for not helping your competition. The nature of it's a nasty competitive business to where millions are on the line, and I want a guy to want to win, right? Mm-hmm. I want a guy to want to win, and that's just how it is. To even expect Witten, like if people don't know this, but Joe Montana, well, some people know this, but Joe Montana didn't help Steve Young. He didn't help him at all. They was awkward because they was competitors. Brett Favre did not help at all Aaron Rodgers.
Nah, because Aaron Rodgers, they didn't even like each other the first year because when Aaron Rodgers first met him, he called him Pops. He didn't, and the very first time that Aaron Rodgers met Brett Favre, the first thing he called him was Pops. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm your pops, okay.
Yeah, so they didn't even like each other. And from what I hear, the reports are they were one of those relationships where they got better after he was no longer with Green Bay because Aaron Rodgers saw the pressure that he had to go through. But they didn't like each other for a large part of their career.
Yeah, and Flacco said, obviously when Lamar Jackson came over, he said, that's not my job. My job is not to make him the next quarterback. My job is to be ready to be the quarterback that they need me to be. And some people say that's selfish. It's not about the team. It's like, okay, look, I understand, that some people is able to lay down like that and just kind of give it over to the next guy. But if you believe in yourself, you don't do that. Mm-mm. So I'm not going to expect that from Witten. I'm going to expect Witten to be a competitor and then teach those guys how to be professional. That is it. And that's the only thing I would expect out of him.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, you're not getting paid for that. I'm not getting paid for that. Nor are you going to. And then you got to think like this. I helped the team out by finding my replacement. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't work. That's not how it works out, man. So yo, man. Hey, make sure you guys stay tuned. We're gonna be cutting to a commercial break right after this. The 2019 Dallas Cowboy season is only a few months from kicking off. But this year, let's do things a little different. Instead of just watching games at home or just going to a game, let's actually experience our Dallas Cowboys, just like West Coast does. Cowboys Experience is my one-stop shop for all my Cowboys game day weekends. Their packages are all inclusive, including 2 nights hotel accommodation. We'll pick you up and drop you off at the airport and game. Want to hang out and get autographs from current and former Cowboy greats like Drew Pearson? If you're ready to experience the Dallas Cowboys like no other, make sure you inbox West Coast or go to cowboysexperience.com today. The 2019 Dallas Cowboy season is... What's up with you guys? So we right back up in here, man. So the other day we were on live with OG Mark Holmes. Hey, let me go shout out some folks over here on YouTube, man. What up with you, Richard Evans, Christopher Glover on YouTube? What's up with you, Julie, Dwayne? What up with you? We were live and we were talking to OG Mark Holmes, and he said he made a statement about the offense that he wanted to prefer. He wanted the Dallas Cowboys to kind of start using, and he said he wanted them to kind of be more effective with 12 personnel. Now, if y'all was watching that show, y'all remember. You guys remember definitely my expression. I almost fell out the chair because 12 personnel means that you are putting 2 tight ends on the field. I do not feel that the tight end class is the strongest of our team. So it makes no sense to have 2 of them on the field and take wide receivers off. But so we had some friendly banter back and forth on that. But over the last couple of days, Kellen Moore actually put out a very interesting tweet, and basically actually it wasn't a tweet, but it was the boy, what's the guy's name? Hellman? Huh?
Yeah,
Hellman was at practice. Let's see if I can just find this dang tweet, because I know I could have sworn I picked it up, but yeah, I'll find it in a minute. But yeah, he basically said what they were doing is they were using 10-man formation, which is 4 wide receivers, 1 running back. They were spreading them out. And they were doing it inside the red zone, man. They were doing it inside the red zone. Red zone is from the goal line, which is from the goal line to the 20-yard line. Well, actually, is it? Yeah, it's considered the 20. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, just what are y'all thoughts on that? I remember we were all. I mean, I know I was hella fighting for 11. 11 is when you have the 1 tight end on there. But I mean, 10, woo, man. But I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
So let me just jump in on this one real quick. So 10 personnel allows you to really take advantage of mismatches by running underneath routes, by doing pick plays, and also by running speed zones and pitches to the outside. You can run fades out of it. You can run anything out of the 10 formation, okay? If you look at Boise State and you think about Kellen Moore and you look at the offense he ran in college, they predicated themselves on several primary things. Number one, it was misdirection, okay? When you spread the field out, you have the opportunity to misdirect by certain route combinations and also crossing patterns. They also ran unpredictable plays, okay? And they also took advantage of down and distance based upon where the ball was placed on the hash marks. So Kellen Moore is looking to incorporate some of these same things to the Dallas Cowboys offense as he takes over that coordinator position. And that's what you see by using the spread formations inside the red zone. Keep in mind what we talked about a few shows ago. They have several 4-3 guys on this team. They have speed on this team. And even if the speed can't catch, the speed you have to respect because they clear out space underneath. So that's the reason and the methodology behind that 10 personnel.
Yeah, Boss Cowboy, let me hear something. What's your thoughts, man?
I do want to ask a question, and then I give my thoughts on the 10 personnel, because I trust the OC. The OC is definitely the offensive guy that I go to. Question was using the 10 experimentally, because I listened to Kellen Moore and his interview the other day when he was basically sitting in the huddle of reporters, and one of the things that he said is that he's willing to try different things in the red zone to see if it works. So I'm pretty sure 10 is not anything that's locked in the install right now. It looked like something they was more so looking at. But from your perspective, what would be some of the advantages or creativity using 10 personnel in the red zone? I know you broke it down, the advantage of 10 personnel just in itself, but where could you see 10 personnel just really being something that can be used in the red zone?
Okay, so 10 personnel. If you have 4 wide receivers, right, you can go twins, 2 receivers right, 10 receivers left. You also could go trips. As an example, 3 receivers to your right, 1 receiver to your left. Out of a trips formation, you can run short screens. You also can do what they call a 299 route, which basically means that the two inside receivers run straight up the field, basically to the back of the end zone, and you have the outside receiver cutting underneath for a quick slant. Okay, that's a very, very effective legalized pick play. You also can run quick bubble screens. Randall Cobb, if you think about
It's
him,
bubble screen king.
he was a great screen runner, right? When he played in his years at Green Bay, okay? And he's a great 2-out runner as well. And he can play any wide receiver position in the field, actually. So those are just some of the things you can do. But you also can spread somebody out, and with the power of the Dallas offensive line, you can hit them with quick dives. You can hit them with quick zone plays. There's so much you can do out of that formation. And with Ezekiel Elliott and the offensive line, I mean, the options are endless, but I just gave you a few examples.
Gotcha.
And, man, go ahead. I wanted to ask something, but go ahead. If you want to rock, go ahead.
Yeah, just mind quick, because I was listening to what the details of what Kellen Moore was saying, and one of the things that kind of gave me pause, and I don't never want to be pump fake by my organization. I hate to get surprised. I like to know what's coming. Now, one of the things that they asked them is they said, what are kind of some of the changes that you think you're going to be able to make in a Jason Garrett offense? And one of the things that bothered me is he said, yeah, we've pretty much been running this same system for a very long time under Jason Garrett. And, basically I'm going to be able to put some different things in place, but this is pretty much still his system. So so I don't want to get my hopes up to the point where I'm thinking this is going to be totally given over the whole offense to Kellen Moore. The team that's starting to come out to me from my research, and this is not about 10 personnel yet. I'm just thinking about the offense itself. Is that it's gonna probably be more of the same, but just different packages, but the same Jason Garrett philosophies. So it's gonna be more of a wrinkle to me than an overhaul. Is my intuition about the matter. And then when I think about the 10 personnel in the red zone, I think about what he said, because what he said is, we're gonna try different things right now in this install phase. So it's not anything that they might be locking in, but it's something that is, at least they're showing some openness to do things differently. And he said, we're looking at doing some things differently that we haven't done before, and packages that we hardly ever use. And we're going to trial and error and see what works. So at this point, it's not locked in stone, but it's a good indication that they're open to being creative from my perspective of the 10 personnel and them trying that in the red zone, West Coast.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you the team that uses the 10 personnel. Well, they don't use it the most because it's like a bunch of teams that use it. Kansas City uses it, but I'm gonna tell you a team that uses it the most. When I Google 10 personnel, what offense comes up the most? I'm gonna tell you, the New England Patriots, bro.
Yeah.
And you know what they do? You know what they're doing? You wanna know why? Because the one thing about the 10 personnel is it guarantees that it's for matchups. When you go 10 personnel, it's whoever wins on their route first. You know what I'm saying? And the cool thing about it is, man, our wide receiver core is so deep that they're basically saying this. Our wide receiver core is so deep, we want to get them on the field. We want to find any way to get them on the field, because I'm going to tell you what else. I'm going to tell you the drawback that New England has, that they can't really use 10 personnel to its advantage. You want to know why? Because something that's not accounted for in their 10 man offense, and I'm going to tell you something cool that I found. This is actually New England using the 10-man personnel formation in the red zone. Right here. I got it up right here on the background.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. When you do 10-man formation, if you notice, everybody is one-on-one. But can I ask you a question? Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Does Tom Brady run the ball?
I see your point. Oh, my God.
Does Tom Brady run the ball? So you know what Tom Brady's man get to do? Hang out and chill with West Coast. Hey, what up, man? If you take off running, I'm gonna hit you though. Just stay in the pocket. Why? Because on 10-man formation, it's 1-on-1, 11-on-11. Bro, you know what this really does? This puts 4 wide receivers on the field, which is probably our best class outside of linebacker. Our linebacker room is our second best room outside of linebackers. So if you tell me we're going to have 3 linebackers on the field at all time, I'm okay with that because I know that's my best core. You know what I'm saying? On offense, my best core is my wide receiver core. I'm saying it right now. They're my wide receiver core. Because Amari Cooper puts a head above a bunch of guys, and he's no drip. So my thing is this. I don't mind putting extra wide receivers on there. Why? Because I know I'm the best and the deepest at that position. But you know what it also does? It puts Zeke one-on-one with a linebacker, and it puts Dak one-on-one with a linebacker. So you know what you're going to be able to do out of this right here because he's going to be in a shotgun formation. The cool thing about this is you don't even got to read the defense. All you got to do is find the open man and get him the ball. That's it. So what I see happening a lot next year, is Dak throwing a lot of passes and people running him into the end zone versus him actually throwing touchdowns in the actual end zone.
Yeah.
And that's what you saw in the New York Giants game. In the New York Giants game, Dak was not actually throwing. The last one he did. But Jarwin's game, bro, he was getting them in position, getting open, and they were scoring. And guess whose offense is this 100%? 100%. Rams, bro. Rams, this is what they did to us all night, bro. 4 deep, spread them out. And the best part about it is we're going to have the best asset because our quarterback can actually run that ball. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on that, man?
Well, like one of the
I think that's a cool point.
Go ahead.
One of the things, I'm going to be quick, OC. One of the things that I like about New England, when they use the 10 personnel, they definitely, to me, use it as a change of pace. And they use it as a change up. Like, that's one of the things they did when they made that comeback on Atlanta. That was the biggest thing they did is they spread those guys out. It was 4 receivers out there, mostly in 10 personnel, and they was really picking on the nickelback, especially when they got in the red zone. So, and that's something that you don't really see us do. You don't see us do that. So, for us to actually use that, like, and I agree with you that our best weapons are the receiving room better than the tight end room.
So get more of them on the field.
Yeah, and then use it as a change-up, and it depends on the philosophy that we want to come out with, because we might want to pound you. If we want to pound you, okay, come out with 12, come out with 13. 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 3 tight ends. That's if we want to pound you, right?
Yeah.
But then if we say, okay, we think that your secondary is weak, we'll come out in 10. Like, if we can actually have various ways of attacking that we are very comfortable in, that's going to itself make our offense just that much better.
And you know what else to do, Boss Cowboy? If you're a team playing me, you know what it also makes you do? Get all them damn players out the box. Get them out. You want to keep stacking the box? You want to keep stacking the box? Okay, don't trip. Because in 10-man personnel, you got to be really trusting in your offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be 1-on-1 on 1-on-1. Now, the cool thing I like about this is even in this right here, you got White isolated on a linebacker. You got Edelman. Look at on this play right here. You got Edelman going 1-on-1 with a linebacker. That's the inside. That's the left side. You got Amendola on a slot.
Yeah, that look like a nickel. You got, and look at who they got as the deep man going deep. Gronkowski, the tight end. But everybody that's fast, super fast, is underneath. And think about this. The only person that's not I see Gronk in on that patch. Oh, that is
Gronk is at the top.
I see him.
Now the cool thing about it is the only threat that they don't have is Tom Brady running. If Tom Brady had a running threat, and then look how far that man, you getting points on this. And in my opinion, I'm going straight to Edelman. Whoop. You can go Edelman.
Yeah, Edelman definitely, because see, just on the matchup itself, and I know also you had some. I'm gonna be real quick.
Are you okay?
Just looking at this splits.
I'm gonna test this safety right here.
Screen,
I'm testing this safety.
And if I just look and I see Edelman just lined up.
I'm testing that safety.
I see 2 stiffs on Edelman. Just
Yep.
automatic. And that's what they used to call an athlete on a stiff. Because you could tell that Amendola is going against a nickelback. You know, he's low, He's over his toes. He's in a cornerback ready position press. So is the guy that's over LaFell, over his toes. Obviously, the guy that's over Gronk. But the mismatch that's obvious, just as soon as they line up, you can see it.
Edelman.
You know, the Amendola. I mean, Edelman.
And think about this, Boss Cowboy. That's not a hard throw, man. Oh, snaps, man. My little brother just rolled up in here, man. I'm going to have to slide him on the show real quick, man. But yeah, man, like I'm looking at Edelman right now, man. You have a line, and think about this. What if they're now? I would think like this too. This is going to make the defense, whatever you thought you were going to come out in, it's going to make you change, because if you're trying to send this linebacker, you can't no more. You can't, because Edelman is going to make you what? Keep your linebackers honest. And then you got LaFell I forget what these. What is that called? What is that, like a hook? That ain't a hook.
That's
because
in breaking route.
In breaking route. He's running that in breaking route. Whatever this is right here, and I'm assuming it's a safety, and it's probably their strong safety because he's in the box. You know what I'm saying? He's not in coverage, so I'm assuming he's the worst of the two. He's gonna have to make a decision. If he makes the wrong decision, bro, Edelman's going into the end zone. Or worst case scenario, that safety has to make the tackle. If he don't, he's going in the end zone. He's going in the end zone. And the cool thing about it is, you know, one thing I like about this, man, is it doesn't make Dak. It doesn't require Dak to. And I'm not trying to throw no shade on Dak, but this don't require Dak to do much. Like, this doesn't require him to do much. Like, it's basically, it's almost like a committee, to be honest with you, because in 10 personnel, you're not specifically looking for anybody. You're looking for the man that's open. So, I mean, I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear that, but we still going to be a little committee-ish. You know what I'm saying?
I'm cool with it as long as you got that number one out there. I take it all day. I hate a committee that take your best weapon out the field.
Yeah,
and to your point, Boss Cowboy on West Coast, y'all brought up a lot of great points. I mean, 10 personnel, I mean, if you have Gallup, if you have Cobb, if you have Cooper on the field, I really don't care who your fourth receiver is.
Yeah.
You make so many plays with those guys that it's absurd. And also, you brought up a great point, West Coast, that I want to piggyback on some more, is that you brought up the fact that when New England runs that set, Tom Brady is not a threat. Well,
nope.
The quarterback draw for the Cowboys on the goal line, if we look back the last few years, has been a very successful play.
Yep.
That's been a very successful play. So you got that, you got all types of stuff, and quick hitters to Zeke on the goal line is a very, very successful play, because what makes the quick hitting dive or quick hitting zone play successful is the center and the two guards.
Yep.
If they can get body on body and not let a linebacker get through the A or B gap, we got a touchdown. That's what we got all day long. And so I love it, man. But I do want to bring up another point that Boss Cowboy brought up is that keep in mind, Kellen Moore is the OC in title, but he's still junior OC. And he has to prove himself with his concepts.
Yeah.
And the more he proves himself with his concepts, the more reins he will get. But it will not come easily. He's going to have to prove that his concepts work, and he's going to have to be strategic, and he's going to have to really be excellent in terms of his decision-making ability with different player packages for the Cowboys. And that's going to really cause the Cowboys to open up. But if he is not successful early, then you'll kind of see it get back tighter the way it was last year, in my opinion.
And you know what? I'm looking at this play, man, because I'm thinking like this: if the linebacker rides him up the field, if he abandons it, because it looks like he's coming, if he abandons his route, right? If he abandons his coverage and he sticks with Edelman, he's gonna ride him up, right? I can almost guarantee you that safety is gonna see Edelman and try to come over and support, right? So you know what that happens? LaFell, his route is gonna push him. That route is damn near pushing him, 8 yards? I can almost guarantee you that LaFell's route pushes him up. If he breaks back here on the 5, LaFell's walking into the end zone himself too. Why? Because this whole middle is gonna be open. These are easy throws. And then guess what? Worst case scenario, and think about this. If you only wanted to get 6 yards, you got it. Because look how far they're playing off Gronkowski. Why? Because you have to. They're going to give.
And in 10 personnel, West Coast.
You better back up on Amari Cooper. You better.
Yeah, because if you press him, we just go fade you. It's a touchdown.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're going to be asking for it. So that's what I'm saying. So technically, he could take 6 yards right now if he wanted to.
Yep, you got it.
Now, go ahead, boss.
Yeah, one thing that I'm excited about, man, and you know, it's a lot of us that say, man, I wish Roma was our OC. I wish Roma was our OC. Man, I used to be like, shut up. Boy, I swear I do. I really do, man. I really do, man. In some kind of way, and I know that's out the blue, but the reason why I said that, I was listening to him when he was actually doing the commentator job for the AFC Championship game when it was New England versus, at that time it was the Jags, right? And he said something. He said, this is what New England does that most teams don't do. He said they have about 7 different offenses that they'll break out on you at any time.
Yeah.
You know, and Dallas wasn't built like that. Dallas has a good formula, and I'm not going to ever hate on the formula. Our formula is to slow the game down, keep it close, beat you when it's in the clutch, and we're good at doing that. But Romo was saying a good point. He said, but you have to be able to change up on a dime. And that's what you see New England. And, you know, he said, and you'll see them do that. They'll come out and they'll pound you. Like, how did they beat Kansas City last year? On the ground.
Yeah, and they couldn't. They in that tight end.
But how did they beat when they won the Super Bowl against Atlanta? In the air. You know, it's different ways that they attack you. And this is, you know, I'm not gonna get my hopes up because Jason Garrett's still a coach, and I'm not saying he's an idiot, but I don't trust him yet in terms of a dynamic offense. You know, and I don't know how much control he's gonna have over Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
But if we can get to that point with the guys that we have, to where we can say, you know what, the run is not working, Zeke. We've been trying this for 3 quarters, like with the Rams. We've been trying this. Yeah. Spread them out.
Well, I want to ask both y'all a question, man. If you start dating a young lady and you gave her a key to let her move, and she moved into your house, right? And she got the key and she's living there, would you give her access to everything, bank accounts, you know, your personal, your social? Would you do that, or would you do it in steps? You know what I'm saying? I think you would do it in steps. I'm looking at Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett the same way. This isn't no regular year. This is the year where if you don't do good, I lose my job. And the cold thing about the game is, Kellen Moore, you're still gonna have your job. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that Jason Garrett's gonna 100% turn this over to Kellen Moore. And to be honest with you, I'm actually kind of okay with that. Why? Because you got to remember, we don't have a problem with running the ball. And that's the only reason why Jason Garrett lost his duties as far as play calling ability. Because when Jason Garrett was calling your plays, we were never outside 9th ranked. And at a few times, we were 3rd and 4th. Now they say, oh, but you got to remember, you had Tony Romo. Yeah, you're right. But guess what? I'm not asking him to be 3rd and 4th. I'm okay with being 10th. We just can't be 24th. You know what I'm saying? Because if we like 10th or 12th with our running game, bruh, and our defense, bruh, that's double, bruh. Like, we don't have to be the number 1 offense, but we need to be at least able to score 25 points. If we can score 25 points with our defense, like the Saints, they need to score 40 points. Like the Chiefs, they need to score 40 points. You know what I'm saying? These other teams, the Rams, they need to score 40 points. Like, they have to. Why? Because their defense is not good. And I was yelling that for the Rams the whole time. Like, it doesn't surprise me when you score 40 points and your defense gives up 39. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the type of football I want to be in. I don't want to be in that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you notice, those teams typically, just like the Oregons of the world, they'll do good all the way up until you meet Alabama. That be like, nah, bruh, you ain't going to do that. I seen 3 years in a row Oregon go up against Alabama. They so fast. And Alabama go in there, sit down somewhere. Them boys, they act like they ain't never played football before when they play Alabama, just a totally different squad. You know what I'm saying? That's who the Dallas Cowboys are when we against that run, man.
Well, to your point, West Coast, on this, which I love in terms of Kellen Moore's background with philosophy. And this came actually from Chris Peterson in an interview when he was at Boise State before he took the Washington Husky job. And they asked him about his system, right, and his offense. And he made a very powerful statement. that I hope can transmit to the Cowboys in terms of their thinking, in terms of their play calling, and game-based scenarios. He said this. He said, I do not have an offense. I call plays.
I like
I
that.
do not have an offense.
I like that.
I call plays. The plays are always scenario-based. And so if we can get some of that thinking injected into the Cowboys offense, we'll be phenomenal.
Yeah, because I mean that's basically you're really when they say they play one game at a time, you know, it should show that because when you play against a team who is ranked the worst in the worst offense, worst passing team in the NFL against the pass, you should have an influx of passing. Why? Because that's what they're weak in. That's your film study should show that's what we should be attacking. You know what I'm saying? And when you play a team that's known to be good against the run, you shouldn't be running right into Ndamukong Suh and goddamn Aaron Donald for the last play of my season. You should not be doing that because that does not make sense. Like, that does not make sense at all. I would have rathered in that situation, honestly, doing what we did in Green Bay. Somebody asked me the other day, man, West Coast, what do you think? They send me all these snapshots of how Tony Romo could have threw to Cole Beasley and all this other stuff. And they're like, West Coast, do you really think he should have threw the ball to Dez? I'm like, yes. You're like, why? Because it worked. We just got ripped off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it worked. You know what I'm saying? In that situation, you got Ezekiel Elliott, who only had 53 yards at that moment. At that moment in life, in time, and in L.A., while West Coast was watching, Ezekiel Elliott only had 53 yards in 4 quarters. So that let me know that the running game was not working. Why are you trying to do that on a play that's for your life? That don't make no sense. That is so I totally get and I totally agree with what you're saying, Boss Cowboy. Like, man, like each week we should look like a different team because we should look like exactly. We shouldn't look like the Dallas Cowboys because that means you're the same person. We should look like the team that's trying to beat the team we're trying to play. That's who we should look like. Right. Because think about this. If you look like the Dallas Cowboys, that means you have film in a system that can be studied and that can be broken.
Right. Or a team can be built for us. Like
Washington. Yeah, did we just say that at the same time?
Yeah, did we? Yeah, I didn't. Did you say Washington?
I said Washington. You said Redskins. Like, Washington is built for us.
They built for us, so why would you come out like we're going to run our offense? We're not going to let them dictate how we're going to run our offense. We're going to run. We're going to do what we're going to do because we're the Dallas Cowboys.
And as fans, we should know against Washington, Zeke's going to have about 100, at best 98 yards.
Yeah. I'll be happy with 70.
I'll be happy with 70. And you can't get mad at him when that happens. But guess what? When we play, and think about this. Think about this, boss. And when we play Detroit, you can't get mad for Dak only having 160. Why? Because they were the number 1 takeaway team in the NFL and defensive backs. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And they was real bad at stopping the run. But what's crazy, West Coast, is we did the opposite.
We did the exact opposite.
We aired them out and we didn't run the ball. And it worked, but it's still backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to mention something really quick, just going back briefly to the 10 personnel and playing game-specific offense, is that something that you do against a team like the Redskins that are built for you is that you have Zeke run out of the backfield. You cause him to run bubble routes. You cause him to run fade seams.
The big obvious.
You move them all over the field, and every time you do that, and I don't know why the Cowboys don't do this a lot more, because Zeke is very effective as a receiver. He's just as effective as a Marshall Faulk was. I mean, that's what kind of playmaking threat that he is at this time in his career. If you used him efficiently, he would have 600-700 yards receiving every single year.
Yeah, and Buddha says Detroit knows us well. It's always a tough game versus them. The reason being is because we always play right into their strengths. Like against Detroit, we should not be throwing – Dak shouldn't be throwing the ball 25, 30. Like 25 is max against Detroit. Why? Because they have invested money to stop you from throwing the ball. You have to respect that. Just like Washington has invested money in stopping you from running. So that doesn't mean you just go out there and cockily and say, we're the Dallas Cowboys, like Boss Cowboy always say, we're the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to run on you. Why? Because we're the Dallas Cowboys, and guess what's going to happen? Zeke's going to get 98 yards, so you made your point. You made your point. You can run on them, but did we win the game?
Right.
Did we win the game?
And that's a Jason Garrett philosophy, because I heard him say it 100 times. It's about our, and Mark Holmes said something that was so real. I remember like
shout out OG. Shout out to the OG if you watching.
Oh man, he said stuff. He said it agitates me to hear us say our with a sense of pride as if we've been winning Super Bowls over the last 22 years.
Ooh, that's that.
It's a cockiness for no reason. Now Jimmy Johnson could say that, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna run our offense. Okay, that's Jimmy Johnson.
The Patriots can say that.
You know what I mean? It's certain teams that can say that, but for us to say it with our success, it's not something to be proud of. You know,
and it explains why. Yep.
You shouldn't be sticking your chest out about our offense. You know, it should be we can improve, right? And we need to take some of the things that work around the league, right? Not this is the Dallas Cowboy way. And it's like, yes, we know that we're built on a run, and we know we're a very tough team, and we're built to be that way. But sometimes, you know, you kill them with kindness, you kill them with finesse, and what I mean is you kill them by spreading them out. And that was one of the good things that happened in the New York game, right? The New York game was a high-paced, high-tempo game that we had to be high-paced because we didn't have Zeke.
Yeah.
So we said we're going to go with 11, and that's what we did for 3 quarters, and it was a shootout. And we had to win a shootout. It don't matter how you win, if it's slow or if it's fast, as long as you get the dub.
Hey, think about this. Every running back that we've ever gotten has always been gotten after we had the quarterback. You had Staubach. Staubach was quarterback. You had Tony Dorsett comes in as a rookie to help that quarterback. You had Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman was the quarterback. They drafted Emmitt Smith to come in and help that quarterback. Tony Romo is your quarterback. They draft Ezekiel Elliott to come in and be your running back. So maybe the Dallas Cowboys need to stop depending on the running back because we are a running team, but we are not built to depend on the running back. If you notice, we always got the quarterback, then went and got the running back to help that quarterback. We've never had a running back and then went and got a quarterback to help that running back. No, that's building backwards. You know what I'm saying? So I totally get when people say that, oh, you know, the reason why the Dallas Cowboys, we've become too dependent on the run. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But that's just like saying, but that's also like saying that Steph Curry's he's dependent on the 3. Yeah, I get it though. but if you notice,
I get it, but it depends.
But you know what that also means? That also lets you know that Steve Kerr understands the strength of his player and didn't take that from him. He adapted the scheme to make it so that it worked because, bro, that is a really good, bad problem to have. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to diminish it. You just want to figure out a way so that you're not you know what I'm saying? If you're leaning on that power, then it's not going to be very strong. It's like cuss words. If you cussing all the time, your cuss words don't really mean nothing. The reason why we'll say a cuss word and y'all blow our inbox up is because y'all know we don't cuss. Y'all know that. You know what I'm saying?
West Coast, can I throw my boy?
Go ahead, man.
I'll see alley-oop real quick.
Alley-oop.
Joe Trevino, he asked a real good question out of Italy, man. He's 3 in the morning where he is. I want to take his question. He said, "How are you going to change if we're built to run?" I wanted you to take that, OC.
Yeah. So being built to run and being able to throw the football effectively, it's not mutually exclusive. It's all about personnel. And as we've been discussing on the show, the Cowboys have the personnel to run the ball and to throw the ball. And so what you do is you manipulate the personnel you have in different formations. Even if you were a team that only had 1 or 2 good receivers, you can manipulate the formations to get those receivers open all day, every day. That's all about scheme. And so going back to 10 personnel to really highlight that question is that you could flex out, as the Patriots did, you could flex out a tight end as one of the receivers in 10 formation. It doesn't have to be all receivers, and I know that our receivers are our strength, and I agree with you on that, West Coast, but I'm saying there are many ways to manipulate it, and the reason why, as an example, that New England did that is because Gronk was their strongest receiver, right, even though he was a tight end. So they flexed him out, right, and treated him like a receiver. You saw the Saints do this when they had Graham. When Graham was at the prime of his career, they flexed him out as a receiver and would throw him fades down the field, even though he was really a tight end. So this is all about how you manipulate your personnel, and it's all about how you use your pieces.
Yeah, and hey, on YouTube, man, I keep on forgetting to tell my do this, but hey, I got 14 people on there watching right now. Can you guys all hit that like button, please? Hit that like button. I got 2 lights on here. Hey, what up with you, Bob Money? It looked like you a San Francisco 49er fan. Either that or you lost a bet. What up with you, Brandon Williams? How you doing, man? Richard Evans. What's up with you? My Brandon Williams says more pre-snap motion. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of this stuff, if you guys notice, a lot of stuff about our offense that we're saying that we can improve is just obvious stuff. And it's not even talking about we need to go get a better this, or we should go get a better that, or we should pay. We're not talking about that. We're talking about basic common sense football. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the reason why you guys understand it is basic common sense football is because we've seen it so many times. You know what I'm saying? And why is because for the last, since Linehan's been here, it's all been about the Cowboy system. It don't need to be about the Cowboy system. One thing I do like that I keep hearing out of Moore is the fact that he is listening to these players. So if you're listening to these players, that means you're going to be ever evolving. You know what I'm saying? That's what an offense is. It's almost like a life. Like it's ever evolving. You know what I'm saying? But yo, get back to some of these comments real quick. Bob, what the heck, man? He talking about something, I don't know what the heck he talking. He says, yeah, I know, but you said maybe we need to basically do what we've been doing. Oh, no, what I was saying is, well, you guys got to remember, the Dallas Cowboys did not draft Dak Prescott to replace Romo. That was not the thought. They drafted Dak Prescott because Jason Garrett, and honestly, because Jason Garrett wanted to use him as a running quarterback, and he clearly said that on the video.
Slow.
Yep. So that
he said I wanted to use him to get him going slow, get his juices going. They was gonna just use him almost like that other quarterback that they use with New Orleans.
Yeah, that's number 7.
Number 7, the white guy. I don't know his name.
And Breeze hated it, but he ain't had no choice. What you gonna do?
It worked.
It worked, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was the vision that Jason Garrett had of him because I remember Jason Garrett was selling Dak. He was selling Dak, and Jerry was very leery of it. You could tell the body language and everything showed it. And he said, what about, his how he can read a defense? And Jason Garrett was going to bat for him, and he said, this is the manifestation of Dak Prescott. And he explained all of that. So the plan for Dak was never to replace him with Romo. Romo's supposed to ride out into the sunset, but nobody expected his back to do what he did.
And how much money?
But nobody wanted it. I'll say that. Nobody wanted it. It was expected, but it wasn't wanted.
Yeah, and as much as you were paying Romo, if Romo would have been playing the way he was playing Romo, we'd have Romo right now for like $14, $15 million, and we would all be happy. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't saying it. It'll be back. We talk about stuff that don't matter because it don't matter. Marvin Jones says pre-snap motion is a way to see what the defenses what they are doing. That's absolutely right. But honestly, I don't really like at this, and I'm not trying to shade Dak at all. But we have the athletes that Dak don't even really have to read the defense. Like, all he really got to be able to see is the man open and throw the ball. And if he can add some anticipation throws in there, like I went crazy about the other day when I saw that anticipation throw from Amari Cooper and him, man, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? Because if you, with 10-man personnel, bro, somebody's going to win on a route. It's a matter of him seeing it. But, I mean, the boy in Kansas City said that he didn't learn how to read defenses until this year. So, they're not even learning how to read. Go ahead.
I want to bring up what we talked about on the phone yesterday. Because, see, me and West Coast, we talk football. Like, this show is how we talk. But West Coast brought up a point yesterday about the pain of dealing with Scott Linehan. And he was breaking down how Amari Cooper had to resell the way he was running different stop routes and slant routes because everybody was sitting on it every game because they was doing it every game. And then West Coast was breaking down to me how it was also dysfunctional and made Dak late. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, if your receiver because they sitting on everything, I can't run the slant the same because they go definitely pick it off.
Yeah.
So he had to sometimes sell it like a fade, then go hard into a slant. And that means Dak had to wait to see. I know that slant, but okay, it's that slant this time. And just think about that last split second that was always thrown off because of play call.
Yeah.
So when you say anticipation is going to improve with greater play calling,
Yeah, I mean, think about this, boss. I would say 80% of the passes that Tom Brady throws are anticipation throws. Like,
Yeah.
at least 80% of them. Why? Because, bro, all his wide receivers are 5'9". How can you see him? Like, he's expecting for you to be where you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And if you're open, you're going to get the ball. That's why guys go over there and thrive, because they have, when you go to New England, no matter who you are, you know you have an opportunity. Why? Because the system is going to predicate on that. If you get open, you're going to get the ball more. That's why That's why Gronkowski will probably go in the Hall of Fame, but doesn't have more MVPs than what was the dude with the beard? Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, Edelman.
Yeah, they won a Super Bowl without Gronk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because of what they're able to do as far as mismatches and things like that. So
They attack you different ways.
and attack you different. Go ahead.
And the secret sauce to that is something that nobody's mentioned is Josh McDaniels. All right, the fired head coach that drafted Tim Tebow to be his starting quarterback. He is an offensive guru and genius. The last 3 years since his return, 4 years, I believe, if I'm correct, has been phenomenal in terms of his play calling and him taking advantage of nuances and the defense. He's phenomenal in game prep, and he's been given the reins by Bill Belichick. That's been the secret sauce in terms of the offense and making adjustments based on the defense. And then also going back to that 10 personnel, here's the deal. The Cowboys run a pro short pass offense, okay? That was the offense last year. It was a pro-style short pass offense. Well, the 10 personnel allows you to take advantage of those short to intermediate routes very, very quickly, right? But you have more space on the field because you're demanding one-on-one matchups.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then also, worst case scenario, Dak, if you don't like it, tuck it and run. You know what I'm saying? And I would think in between, give me in between the center, because I don't know who's going to be my starting center, and Martin, I'm tucking and running. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking, because it's going to be so spread out. Think about this. And another reason why I don't mind Dak running on 10 personnel is because there's less linebackers, more corners. Dak is bigger than most corners. You know what I'm saying? So when he hits you, he falling forward. You know what I'm saying? And when they see this big Mississippi boy, he's really from Louisiana, this big Louisiana boy coming through them with them thighs, man, they ain't going to win no action. He going to get at least one or two. Now, I'm not saying they set runs, but, bro, when you're in that 10 formation, running is definitely an option. And then you can always just hand it to Zeke and let him run in between if you really want to.
I want to piggyback one more thing on what the OC said.
Shoot.
And that's always been sad to me. And I maybe want the OC to kind of get the stick when I say this. It has truly been sad that we have never really used Zeke as a passing option like we could have. We used him the Detroit game. Remember, we threw the fade to him. Dak threw that fade to him to secure the win. They didn't really do it anymore. And remember, what was they saying about Zeke when he was drafted?
His catching ability.
He was the best 3-down back in the last 6 years. They kept saying that, you know. And 3-down means you can use him pretty much in between the tackles. You can catch out the backfield. He can do everything, basically, when they say 3-down back. And they don't really use his hands, you know. So it's like, I agree with OC on that. It's like, what are they going to do to also use him as a passing threat?
Well, you know, to your point, Boss Cowboy, I mean, look at Marshall Faulk in his career. Although Zeke is a bigger, more powerful runner than Marshall Faulk ever was, you have the opportunity in a more of a spread look to use him against slot or your nickel corners, which that's a mismatch all day long.
Stupid mismatch. Stupid mismatch.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the deal on that. You can extend Zeke's career by using him in the passing game more, okay? Don't pound him between the tackles for 20 times a game. You can get him on 5 passes and 18 good runs that are set up and calculated, and he still will average over 100 yards a game because of the offensive line and because of how you scheme games. So really, I mean, it's a crazy phenomenon to me that every time Zeke catches the ball in the passing game, he makes a big play. Just about every time.
Pretty much every time.
But we're not coming back to that, and it's sad because you know that a linebacker's not going to cover Zeke. We know that a nickel corner is not going to cover Zeke.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead, Boss Cowboy. Go ahead, Shooter. You want to say something?
Yeah, and another vision that I always wanted to see them see us use Zeke, and the '90s Cowboys did this a lot, leaking out your running back from the backfield, like those delayed leak outs, to where and you design them to even where you set up blocking and everything for them. You had a lineman kind of roll out there late. If you watch Pittsburgh and you look at the catches that Bell was known for, most people will say Bell is like a receiver. The only routes that he ran when they lined him up outside was a stop route and a slant route. Most of his catches came from him being leaked out and was using his agility to get you, and he was gashing you. Like if you look at Bell versus us, the biggest chunks that Bell got on us was when they leaked them out. So it's other ways to also use your hands and not even just lining you up. You can still have him out in the backfield, but then you can have a delayed leak out, when I say leak out, basically he flares out. If you can see the camera, he kind of does something like this or goes straight out after the play is already and the receivers are downfield, and it gives him space to make people miss. And they did that exact same thing with Bell, and that's really what they do with Bell a lot at Pittsburgh, or used to do with Bell.
Yeah.
So I would also want to see that from us, to where you using all the assets of Zeke, not just screens, not just like my brother OC said, through the tackles, but just all kind of different ways to get him in space and to use all the assets of Zeke.
Yeah, and also on this 10 personnel, I mean, a lot of times most of the time, what your defense, a good base to cover is that cover 3. But the thing about it is, the sad thing about it is, you about to put both your corners on islands. So if they're backed off, they're going to back off a little bit, because you're not going to have press coverage on both wide receivers on the line, because you're almost guaranteed a 50-50 shot. Somebody going to get beat. You know what I'm saying? So this is how most defenses are going to play it. So it's like you could just do simple stuff like just say hike, and as soon as you say hike, throw Gronk the ball. That's it. As soon as you say hike, throw him the ball. And then let him do what he do. Like, you have the athletes to do that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of piggyback on, I read some in the comment right now. My boy Brian says that Bell, David, Johnson, and Kamara are way better receiving backs. I'm going to be honest with you, bruh. I'm not going to say Bell or David. First off, I'm not going to say Bell is better than Zeke in anything, because he didn't even play football last year. So to even say he fat, he didn't even play. You don't know how he's gonna respond next year.
You can only say that because you saw them do it. You didn't see us do that.
Yeah, but you also got to remember, you also saw a guy named Ben Roethlisberger throwing the ball to a running back. It's gonna be totally different getting it from who? Sam Darnold? Who's the quarterback up there?
Yeah, and I'm saying, because all you got to do is go look at Ohio.
And then David Johnson. David Johnson has not been the same since 2 years ago.
Go look at Ohio State and look how they use Zeke. They use Zeke every way. You know what I mean? You go watch. As a matter of fact, go watch it where you know Zeke had to play against Alabama. In top talent. Go watch the Alabama game, the national championship game, and Zeke. And you tell me if he looked better, if Kamari, Bell, and David is better than him. And you gonna say, why don't we use him like that? I promise you, just go pull it up.
Yeah.
When you get off the show, YouTube it, Zeke versus Alabama, and just watch. That's all I ask you to do. Watch. And you gonna say, hold on, that's Zeke?
Yeah.
I promise you gonna say that. You gonna say, we not using his hands. I promise you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Boss Cowboy and West Coast agree. The only reason why the perception that Bell and Kamara is better is because they've got more touches with the football being thrown at them. That is the only difference. In terms of skill and hands, there is no difference.
And David, like I said, David Johnson has not been the same. And the type of running back, I honestly think this is going to be the last year in there, because if you're going to have a quarterback like Kyler Murray out there, you need a running back like a Pollard, like a guy who can get out there and really move it around. And David has not been the same running back. You know what I'm saying? I hope he gets back to that form. Obviously, if he gets back to that form, he's going to be a beast. But as of right now, I hate when people do that, when they compare guys who didn't even play. Like, you got to take that in consideration. Like, the NFL is that hard. It's that hard. Like, if you take a year off, like, it's that hard. You know what I'm saying? So I'm never gonna put nobody, especially if they ain't played. You know what I'm saying? And you got to think about this: who was Kamara catching the ball from? That's Breeze, man. That's the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? Who was Bell catching the ball from? You know what I'm saying?
Who was calling those plays? Like,
you got Todd Haley calling them plays in Pittsburgh.
Man, and I look and check this out.
Don't like him, but Ty Haley know how to call some damn plays.
You know how people say, the only reason Dak's second half of the season improved because of Cooper on Yak, and I say, I hear you, but if you actually go look at the Yak, if you go look at it, the top teams was, guess who?
The Dallas Cowboys?
No, we 30th.
Oh, in the Yak yards?
30th. The Saints, Kansas City, and the Rams.
Oh.
Half of those quarterbacks' yards came from Yak. So that says that the play callers know how to put their players in space.
Yes, sir.
To the work. When you just look at that list, all you got to do is look at the Yak list, and it's gonna tell you everything you need to know about that offense. And nobody should, and I'm not taking anything away from Breeze, but Jesus Christ, 2,000 yards on Yak.
Yeah, he also threw 84% of his passes to one player too, which has never happened in the NFL. And that's why people say Michael Thomas is elite. I don't agree, but whatever.
The finals getting ready to come on, man. So
yeah, I know. We got one last card. My boy says Karma. He says that boy Karma is going. I mean, Kamara is gonna miss Ingram. That's something else we didn't talk about. Also, he is gonna miss him. That's gonna change up the way he does a lot. But yo, man, OC, give me your last thoughts before we get up out of here, man.
Yeah, so last thoughts is that the Cowboys need to spread the ball around in various formations to their strong players, whether that be 10 personnel, whether that be trips, whether that be twins. I don't really care how they do it, but to get the most out of the offense, they got to spread the ball around, and they got to give their best players in space.
Absolutely. Boss Cowboy, what you got, man, before we get up out of here?
I'm going to wait and see on this offense. I want Kellen Moore, to your example, to be the new woman that goes into the house and that's able to get the keys and earn the keys within 2 weeks. And the only way he'll get the full keys to be able to run the full offense of what they're capable of is he's going to have to execute both of those first 2 games. So me and OC was talking yesterday, and he said something that I was believing, but he also confirmed because I really trust his knowledge, especially on offense. I think, and I said this to you, West Coast, off the air, and the OC said this to me yesterday, and I never said this to him. I really do feel like we have a chance to have a gain in our offense similar to what happened when Sean McVay took over the Rams play calling. Because under Fisher, they was like 7-9 or something like that with a lot of good talent. And then when that real play calling took over, they was a Super Bowl team, just came out of the Super Bowl last year, didn't win it, and was 2 games away from it last year. I think if we take that type of game from Kellen, it's not just even next year, but the next 5 years should be amazing.
Yeah, man, I could definitely see this. I mean, my thing is this: I just want Kellen Moore to have the same effect that Chris Richard had on the Dallas Cowboys. If you could do that, bro, we're gonna be perfectly fine.
Perfect.
Because Chris Richard came in here and changed the total mindset, created an environment of competition, and now that competition is going to breed us some pretty damn good corners, man. So, I mean, if he can just come in here and have the same type of impact on our organization that Kellen Moore has, then, we'll be on perfectly fine. I don't think he needs to call no magical plays because at the end of the day, like, we got to the second round of the playoffs and we will all say it sucked. You know what I'm saying? I just need him to rewrite those ships inside the red zone. You know what I'm saying? Because that was really our biggest hiccup. You know what I'm saying? And then making obvious adjustments. You know what I'm saying? Do the obvious and make obvious adjustments. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do to win. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, man, I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be okay, man. I think we were a Super Bowl contender since 2014. I mean, we didn't get eliminated in 2015 until week 14 against the Jets. And we was, 4-12? You know what I'm saying? How a 4-12 team don't get eliminated until week, 15, 14? That's ridiculous. And guess who the quarterback then? One Kellen Moore. Random thoughts that you can't ever forget as a Dallas Cowboy fan. Hey, man, y'all already know what it is, man. Hey, OC, did you wrap it up before you got up out of here?
Say it again?
Did you get to wrap it up before you got it up out of here?
Yeah, I did. But hey, listen, everybody, find me on Instagram, okay? It's Charles B, the OC. All right, Charles B, the OC. And just follow me, and I'll start posting some content, working on some other stuff for you guys, and I'll keep you posted.
Absolutely, man. We already know what it is, man. I am West Coast Cowboy, man. This is Dallas Cowboys Boss Cowboy Sports, man. We up out of here. Never look down because